Germany could adopt Rwanda plan paid for by UK. Could Germany's new approach to asylum seekers reshape the EU's migration policies? And what does it mean when a nation adopts another country's controversial plan for handling migrants? Today, we're diving deep into Germany's potential adoption of the UK's Rwanda migration plan and what this means for Europe's handling of asylum seekers. Let's explore this significant development, the origins of the UK's Rwanda plan. The UK's Rwanda plan was introduced as a response to the escalating crisis of illegal immigration. The aim was simple: deport illegal migrants to Rwanda to deter others from making dangerous crossings. However, the scheme was scrapped after Sir Keir Starmer's Labour government took over, diverting resources to combating smuggling routes. This plan, although controversial, cost the UK a whopping £318 million in asylum facilities and developmental aid to Rwanda. Germany's current migration challenges. Germany, much like the rest of the EU, has been grappling with a surge in asylum seekers. With approximately 10,000 people crossing the EU's eastern borders annually, pressure is mounting on the coalition government to take action. The public and political climate is becoming increasingly hostile towards unchecked migration, prompting Germany's Migration Commissioner, Joachim Stamp, to propose using Rwanda as a third-party asylum facility. Germany's interest in the Rwanda plan. Germany is facing increasing pressure to find a solution to the growing migration crisis, especially as the number of asylum seekers entering Europe surges. With political parties divided over how to address the issue, the proposal to adopt the UK's Rwanda plan has emerged as a possible deterrent to illegal migration. Joachim Stamp, Germany's Migration Commissioner, has suggested using Rwanda as a third-party country for processing asylum applications, an idea previously met with controversy but now gaining traction. The UK's investment in Rwanda's asylum facilities. The UK has already invested heavily in setting up asylum facilities in Rwanda, with over £318 million spent on the project. These funds were intended to facilitate the processing of illegal migrants under the now-abandoned plan, spearheaded by former Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. Despite the UK's decision to scrap the plan, this investment remains in place, and Germany's interest suggests the facilities will not go to waste after all. How Germany's proposal could influence EU migration policy. Germany's potential adoption of the Rwanda plan could have far-reaching implications for the EU's overall migration strategy. If successful, this approach may become a model for other European nations struggling with their own asylum crises. There's already speculation that the EU might embrace this model as part of its new common European asylum system, currently being revised to address growing concerns over migration management. However, Germany's move might also deepen divisions within the EU. While some member states may support offshore processing as a deterrent to illegal migration, others argue it undermines Europe's humanitarian obligations. By proposing Rwanda as a processing center, Germany is testing the limits of EU solidarity, and the outcome will likely shape the future of migration policy across the continent. The role of Rwanda in global migration solutions. Rwanda has increasingly positioned itself as a willing partner in addressing global migration challenges. With its government open to negotiating asylum deals, Rwanda sees this as an opportunity to strengthen its economy while providing a humanitarian solution to Europe's migration crisis. As part of the deal, Rwanda could receive significant financial aid, boosting its infrastructure and economic development. Yet Rwanda's role in these migration agreements has not been without criticism. Some argue that by accepting asylum seekers from Europe, the nation may face unanticipated social and economic pressures. There's also the issue of human rights, as critics question whether Rwanda is truly equipped to handle the complexities of asylum processing in a fair and humane way. Nevertheless, Rwanda remains a key player in the global discourse on migration solutions, offering a unique perspective on how smaller nations can contribute to resolving international crises. The political backlash in Germany. While some in Germany view the Rwanda plan as a necessary step to deter illegal migration, others are less convinced. Critics, particularly from Germany's left-leaning political factions, argue that offshore asylum processing undermines the country's moral obligations to refugees. For many, the idea of sending asylum seekers thousands of miles away to Rwanda appears to be a violation of international human rights standards. Moreover, Germany's political landscape is deeply divided on migration policy. The proposal from Joachim Stamp is seen by some as an attempt to placate conservative factions of the coalition government, but it risks alienating more progressive voices who favor a more inclusive and humane approach to migration. This internal conflict could prove to be a significant hurdle in moving forward with the Rwanda Plan. The UK's abandonment of the Rwanda Plan. The UK's decision to abandon the Rwanda Plan has been a source of considerable debate, particularly given the significant financial investment already made. After winning the election in July 2024, Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer swiftly scrapped the scheme, opting instead to focus on disrupting the networks of people smugglers responsible for dangerous channel crossings. Critics of this decision argue that abandoning the Rwanda Plan was a mistake, leaving the UK vulnerable to continued migration challenges. Proponents of the plan, including former Home Secretary Suella Braverman, have criticized the decision to scrap the initiative, claiming it weakened the UK's position on illegal migration. Braverman and others argue that had the plan been fully implemented, it would have served as a strong deterrent to migrants considering dangerous journeys to the UK. With Germany now considering the same strategy, questions are being raised about whether the UK might revisit its own stance on the issue. Germany's Migration Commissioner's vision. Joachim Stamp, Germany's Migration Commissioner, has been at the forefront of the proposal to use Rwanda for offshore asylum processing. His suggestion focuses on a narrower group of asylum seekers, specifically those crossing the EU's eastern borders, numbering around 10,000 individuals annually. By targeting this group, Stamp aims to relieve pressure on Germany's asylum system while creating a broader EU model for migration management. Stamp's vision, however, does not extend to applying the Rwanda Plan to all refugees, a distinction that sets him apart from more hardline voices in German politics. His proposal is seen as a compromise between the need for stricter migration controls and maintaining Germany's humanitarian values. Nevertheless, whether his vision gains widespread political support remains to be seen, as Germany's coalition government navigates this complex issue. Conclusion: a new chapter in EU migration policy. Germany's consideration of the Rwanda Plan represents a significant moment in the ongoing debate over migration in Europe. As the continent continues to grapple with rising numbers of asylum seekers, this proposal could mark the beginning of a new chapter in EU migration policy. While the idea of offshore processing has its critics, it also has the potential to reshape how Europe handles migration for years to come. The question remains: will Germany and the EU succeed in balancing deterrence with their humanitarian responsibilities? Or will this approach deepen divisions within the bloc? As these developments unfold, one thing is clear: migration will continue to be one of the most pressing issues facing Europe in the years ahead. Thank you for watching. What do you think about Germany's adoption of the UK's Rwanda Plan? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more insightful content.